Perfect. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Amy Quessenberry. I'm the Director of Training and Organizational Development here at RIC, and I'm also the Chair of the Culture Bold Step. I'm really excited to introduce the new segment that Nick just spoke about, 2-year project management forum. It's called the RIC Department Spotlight at PMF. Now, before I talk about what it is, let me first share how it came to be. When the RIC 75 planning and scanning phase closed and the findings transitioned to the implementation phase, we saw that one of the areas that was greatly needed was to remove barriers and silos through information sharing. As a result, the collaboration and team building project team within the Culture Bold Step came up with a concept that, with the help of marketing, has transformed into the RIC Department Spotlight at PMF. So now let's talk about what this is. This is a 10-minute segment where a representative from a department shares key information and materials that can help remove silos through information sharing. This 10-minute spotlight is not intended to share everything you need to know about that department. This is intended to be a door that you can choose to walk through, a door that can lead to an opportunity to improve interdepartment collaboration, an opportunity to learn about the rich and dynamic services that RIC offers, and then share those with your clients, an opportunity to show up collectively as one RIC. I want to give a huge thank you to all the people that made what you're going to see here in our kickoff actually happen. Eric Hengesbaugh, Mark Hugar, Tatum Bottomley, Elena Barr, Joshua Van Diver, Michael Banta, Brian Jacques, Cindy Gray, Jennifer Shenefeld, Nicole Hurley, Nick Dorner, Emily Sipes, Kevin Gibson, and Don Druce. And with that, I am thrilled to introduce our first department and representative, Joshua Van Diver with the Reality Capture Department. Joshua.
I think San Diego's on mute.
Yeah, you guys muted yourself, San Diego.
Oh, no. Here, all right. Share this. My clock starts.
I think everybody can see it. Gus. Yeah.
Am I on? Good, okay. So we have a QR code here for all those that are joining us virtually here today too. So you can scan this QR code and have access to the same material. For those of us live here in San Diego, we have documents printed out here in front of you at the desk here.
Alex, try and save some.
Yes, we will. You can stop by my desk any time to ask for more of those as well too. I had these available. And before I get into all this information here, I'd like to give a little bit of a backstory about myself and how I became to become a principal project manager here at RIC Engineering. So you see Brian Laird there scanning. This is the San Vicente Dam here in East County, San Diego. He's actually scanning with the demo scanner that I used when I worked for Leica Geosystems for a better part of 15 years. And I sold that to RIC Engineering back in 2006. And you guys have been running with scanning ever since then. And I joined the military, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers immediately after high school as a civil engineer and a land surveyor. And through various roles that I had, I've been promoted into sales positions. When I moved from the Midwest out to California back in 2006, I got connected with the company that sold the geodometer and all the same equipment that I used when I was in the Army. And I immediately gravitated toward that position because it married my past sales experience with my military expertise as well. And then fast forward a couple of years, I was offered an opportunity to sell exclusively laser scanners covering 10 states in the southwestern United States. I immediately gravitated toward the technology because it was the latest and greatest technology in the industry. And it provided surveyors and GCs and subcontractors the ability to get out there and collect Data is safer than they ever have before, faster than they ever have before, and with more detail than they've ever been able to collect before as well too. And then we have software in-house here that I sold back then that allows customers and users to virtually access their data from anywhere in the world, create their deliverables, and then publish their results and share the results as a collaboration tool as well too. I'm not going to go into all the bullet points that you see here, but I would like to talk about healthcare very quickly. Lately, we've been doing a lot of projects with Kaiser Permanente, Cedars-Sinai, and we'll get into some of those projects and what they look like here in a moment. And in terms of civil infrastructure, lately we've been scanning a lot of underground vaults and pump stations, and we also have been using laser scanning for slope deprivation as well too. And you see here, we're going to cover throughout the next few slides, other products and our services as well too. So we have a proven leadership team here within the Reality Capture team. Many of you may know Brian Laird. He himself has 30 years of experience in Reality Capture. I've already spoken a bit about myself here. I've got 19 years of experience within Reality Capture, but I'd like to spend a brief moment to talk about Gus Rios, who has 26 years of experience in Reality Capture. You can see him here actually scanning with a Cyrax 2400 way back in 1999. And this graphic here is actually utilized by Leica Geosystems and their worldwide presentations that they provide, because Cyrax is now the great grandfather of the current scanners that we here use at RIC Engineering today, to this day. So all of the experience, expertise, and knowledge from Gus has been trained from him throughout our entire department. So there's no hurdle that we can't climb, and there's no challenge that we haven't faced in terms of Reality Capture. This just gives you a brief snapshot of the precision sensors that are used to measure and document the real world. All of these sensors are used in what we call Reality Capture. The reality is the scanner in the upper left corner is the workhorse. It's a tripod mounted scanner. It's called the RTC 360 from Leica. That's the majority of the work that we are performing is with that particular scanner, but we have access with all these scanners here and all these sensors here to talk to the conventional surveying equipment that you see there on the left side of the screen. The deliverables that we create as well, whether it be to an architect, a general contractor, or to owners themselves, are point clouds, web viewers, CAD line work, and full-blown 3D modeling as well. We have Revit experts in-house, and we'll get into what that looks like here in a moment as well too. So I mentioned earlier that we do a lot of work within the healthcare industries, and this is what we call a mashup of our projects here with Kaiser Permanente. You can see all of their facilities listed here that we've done work with. And this is a step-by-step process walking you through what a typical project looks like for one of these hospital facilities. You can see us out there scanning data on the left, and we get the scanner into tight confined spaces and actually create a point cloud. And from that point cloud, we're able to then publish the point cloud and the images to the Reality portal that you see there on the left. This is a collaborative tool that Gus will get into in a moment here that allows web sharing for anyone around the world with no additional software and no training required. And then also with that portal, we also provide modeling through Revit. So we can take the raw point cloud, cut it and slice it, and bring it right into Revit for line drawing or full-blown modeling. And here you see the level of detail that we're able to achieve with our full-blown modeling. Our raw point clouds themselves are accurate down to within 1/4 of an inch. And within our modeling specifications, we can get down to 3/4 inch and above for conduit, hangers, and the like. And from that full-blown modeling, we now can bring that into software and compare it against your proposed design or with the real-world as-built point cloud itself and check for clash. And as you can see here, we have as-built drawing assumptions that are off by 6 inches. So now people can make design decisions, prefabrication and pre-installation on making those changes so everything is installed right the first time. Another great example of some of the work that we've done is right here in San Diego, the Hazard Center Retail Reimagining. This is actually from the owners that hired us themselves because they wanted to change the commercial retail plaza over 400,000 square feet and actually create housing in that area. So we scanned the building and parking structure, and we delivered a 3D architectural and MEP model. And this is a snapshot of what the reality portal looks like that we send off to the clients. So now I'm going to hand it off to Gus Rios to talk in more detail about the reality portal.
Thanks, Joshua. Hey, team. Thanks for everybody joining. Just wanted to go in here. So this is our reality portal. This is our bread and butter we send out to clients. Rick staff as well. Rick departments have used this as well. And always this web app that we email out. Everybody could get their username and passwords. And this is a great tool for owners, designers, trades throughout the project. And really, it's all about mitigating the risks of the unknowns, right? And what you're seeing here is a location of every scan we took out at the Hazard Center project. So as you zoom in here, you see every little dot represents each location that we did a scan at. So if you click on one of these dots, you could go to 360 viewer, and then you jump right into your site. And now you're virtually walking your site. Think of it as your Google Street Map, right? But for your site. Now, the great thing about this, now you have the point cloud data map behind that picture. So now you could do measurements between any 2 points. And it's great because even the owners could come in here. Somebody would say, hey, I need to figure out what size shipping cars can come through here or trucks. Now I can do some quick clearances under some of these concrete beams and say, oh, yeah, no, that's not going to work. This is going to work. So it's all about empowering our users to use the data that we're collecting to go figure out what the risks are before they go design something, right? Another cool tool that's in here is the point cloud viewer itself. This is really neat because now they have the actual point cloud, and some people on the project team don't have CAD availability, CAD or Revit. So now it's cool because now they can come in and actually see the point data that we're collecting and go cut sections in here with minimal training and go do some height measurements, right? And it really just powerful, especially the more complex the project is, the way more powerful it is. Now you can see a kind of relationship between the project structure and the buildings. Another great tool we have is the 3D model. We publish, so we made a 3D model for the Hazard Center. And now you're looking at the 3D model from our Revit file. Now you come in here and inspect it, and it's cool. Again, owners who don't have CAD access or Revit access can come and look at what was delivered and then talk to the designers and say, hey, how are you guys using this model? And the cool thing in here is it also relates back to our 360 viewer. If you want to know where you were in the stairwell in the real world, you come back, click it, and you're back against in the real world condition looking at it. And this minimizes revisits for site visits, and it's a really great tool. So I'll hand it back to Joshua.
Thank you for showing that in greater detail, Gus. So here I just want to wrap everything up and let you know that, again, these QR codes on the upper left, we have more information on this one sheet as well too. And the other secondary QR code is for more information about reality capture as a whole. And just to summarize again, virtual reality capture team here at Rick Engineering helps clients to mitigate risk and uncertainty in design and construction. We help them make faster, more informed design decisions. Again, prefabrication, pre-installation, and then we have the ability to offer stakeholders virtual site walkthroughs with our reality portal as well. And any project size can benefit. We've done some projects actually in conjunction with our survey team here at Rick, where it was just simply a half a day out in the field and a couple of days of post-processing. And you can see larger projects like the Hazard Center itself too, and you can get a sense of the scale of everything that we're able to accomplish here. If you see anything that you feel your department might be able to benefit from today, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Please do. In fact, I'll be happy to have additional hour-long lunch and learns with individual departments to dive deeper into our solutions and our products, if you'd like. And we also share information and pass off leads when we are meeting with clients and prospects as well to find out what challenges they're facing, what conditions they're up against. And we have and we will continue to share that information with other RIC departments as well too. So I want to thank you all very much for your time, and hopefully we have time. If we have any questions, feel free to shoot away.
questions for Gus or Joshua?
Go ahead.
Quick question. I think this is all super cool, way more advanced than what I'm going to ask. But occasionally we have the need to survey remote like stream channels and that sort of thing. And there can be tree canopy and other things that limit the telemetry or whatever to get the high precision that you typically want to get. Do we have ways around that? In the past, we've had to do manual surveys tied to one far off point that had reception and then do a bunch of post processing on the back end.
Yeah, again, we can work with your team. A great example is the La Jolla slope failure project that we did last year, where there was a very thick brush along the entire slope and the slope was failing. And they reached out to us to ask if we could scan it from a distance and create the line work that they needed instead of trying to walk through a sloping, very steep cliff with high vegetation as well too. So in areas that are challenging to get to, whether it's canopy interrupting your GPS signal or anything, yeah, we can definitely come in and scan and help supplement your work.
Build stream ready, so yeah, I'll talk to you more about that.
Excellent.
That's a good question. Should we leave the other team some time here to?
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, we did have somebody do a last minute cancel, so if there are other questions,
Oh,
we
okay.
have time.
Got it.
Anybody have any other questions you want to ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my question is, I mean, it's a lot obviously with buildings in the built environment, but have you done surveys like in natural environments, like pre-construction, like basically it's like flat plain land, and then we're thinking of doing things, but done it with 3D, so you can visualize what.
That's a good question, but it's not, there isn't really much of a market for that. The great benefits of scanning are to access areas that are difficult to access and to scan things from a distance that might not be safe. So in open areas, typically it's pretty easy to access areas like that. So safety concerns are kind of minimal in situations like that. And you really want to achieve high detail on things that you scan, right? So to scan flat land, it really doesn't really lend itself to that type of equipment.
Okay, I'm gonna say being in the middle of the channel, that's actually what I'm thinking of.
So,
Okay.
Sorry, we can't hear the questions.
yeah, so the question is asking about if the potential for being able to scan like large flat land or kind of in stream,
Maybe even just more like an incised channel.
in size channels or kind
Yeah.
of.
And for that, like we said, this is just a tool inside of reality capture. We also have drones. We have be able to fly different areas. It all depends on what the need is for the project, and that's what we work as a group together with our reality capture group, Jeff and Jim, all the survey mapping groups, and come up with the best solution for your project.
So for Sunset Coast Natural Park, I don't know if you've been there, but there's a huge ravine that runs through the park next to Global. So this was back in, I believe, 2018 or something, but we actually did reality capture there to capture the ravine. So the ravine has a lot of negative slopes and, huge slope area potential. So we did reality capture and there, and then also where there's the huge concrete trough that goes into the ocean, we did there as well.
So for
Sorry,
those
we
who are on
couldn't
the-
hear. Yep.
Those who are online who couldn't hear, Ash was giving an example about Sunset Cliff Natural Park, about how laser scanning was utilized there. There were some unsafe conditions with being able to do traditional surveying, and so you guys utilized the laser scanning for that specific project.
And San Luis Obispo has a question.
And San Luis Obispo, you have questions?
Yeah, thanks. I was just curious if it hasn't been asked yet, like how is the penetration through vegetation? As most of us know, the aerial topo can be problematic if it's not really ground truth when it comes to, back the way the earth works and stuff like that. So I was curious how this is.
Yeah, you want to take that, Gus, or I got a response for him?
Yeah, I mean it's a challenge for us as well. It all depends on how dense the brush is. But being a laser, it does penetrate some brush, but it just depends on how thick it is, right? And what angles we could hit it at.
Yeah, and once you have the point cloud, if you have areas within the brush that are barren, You can cut and slice the point cloud and then view that, from a side slice, and all those barren areas will give you the ground shot. So you can then draw your break lines on that.
Great,
So
thank you.
that's one solution, yeah.
All right, time for one more question if anybody has it, otherwise we'll turn it over to our next presenter. Good? Okay.